9-0. The first 4 were one-score games, but started rolling after that, winning each of their next 4 by at least 23 points, and then got the huge home win over Penn State, ending a 13-game losing streak against ranked teams. Signature victory. Did lose 2 of the next 3 to miss out on the Big Ten championship game, but still just a huge season for the Gophers, and one they will look to build on. They're heading to the Outback Bowl to take on Auburn, a Minnesota team that's won 3 straight bowl games. That ties a school record, and again, 10 wins. First time they've won 10 in the regular season in more than a century. Auburn had a pretty impressive outing last year against Purdue. Minnesota will hope there will be no repeat of that. And, of course, the Auburn team coming off that win in the Iron Bowl. Let's get reaction on this matchup. PJ Fleck with Elise Menaker.
Coach, you are headed to Florida for the Outback Bowl against Auburn. In a season of first, you can now add to that. This will be your first Outback Bowl, Minnesota's first. So what's the meaning behind a game like this?
Well, this has been a tremendous season, especially for our seniors. This is a tremendous way to be able to go out and celebrate. It's a historic season. It's a season that really restored our traditions here at the University of Minnesota. So it needs to be celebrated, and what a better way to celebrate than go to the Outback Bowl in Tampa, Florida in January. I think our players are really fired up. They're really excited about it when they heard it, and we actually stopped practice and brought them up and told them where they were going because it happened during practice. So we're just very thankful.
What was your reaction when he told you guys?
Our team was just very excited to be able to get a chance to play a very elite program in Auburn, to go to Florida, represent the Big Ten in a fantastic bowl game, the Outback Bowl, and take Minnesota there for the first time.
With the season that you guys have been having, what would this appearance and a win mean for this team?
It would just mean, taking the next right step for our program. We've taken a lot of right steps this season, and now it's time for us to just take the next right step.
For this to be your last game, what does that mean for you personally?
It means the world. I'm excited because it's the next opportunity to play with my brothers, but then you got to look at the big picture. It's like, okay, this is the last one. So in the defensive meeting today, Coach Rossi was talking, and he was like, older guys, the younger guys, you owe it to each other to make a statement right now about what you want this program to look like in the future and what you want the seniors to leave with right now. So it means the world to me, and I'm going to give it everything I got just as well as I know my teammates will.
Talk about making a statement against a tough SEC opponent in Auburn. What's it going to take to beat a team like that?
Detail, preparation, technique. We already started watching film today. We see how explosive they are, how powerful they are off the ball, all the talent that they have at wide receiver, running back, their quarterback being extremely shifty. So we're honing in on details and technique right now, and we're going to keep building on it as the weeks progress.
Will be the first ever meeting between Minnesota and Auburn. I know, Howard, when you were talking about these matchups, you thought this was one maybe where Minnesota could take advantage of a bit of a vulnerability from Auburn?
Yeah, when you look at Auburn from a defensive standpoint, you can throw the football on them and really have some success, and all of a sudden you look at what the strength of this Minnesota offense is. It's Tanner Morgan throwing to 2,000-yard, 1,000-yard receivers. So it's an impressive group of players that they have as far as the athletes that they have at Minnesota. So I'm really interested in this matchup. And then the psychology of it all, I wonder just how much respect this Auburn team will give Minnesota. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as the weeks progress.
Yeah, the psychology part of it's interesting. A lot of people play college football and never win double-digit games. They've already won 10 games. Minnesota winning 11 games in one season, that's really, really impressive. I do think it's a tough physical matchup. I think Auburn is probably a little more athletic, maybe a faster team. The momentum that Minnesota got from beating Georgia Tech last year carried on into the season. A win against Auburn, a team that's beaten Alabama in the Iron Bowl, would be tremendous momentum for Minnesota. But think about it. Minnesota winning 11 games. That's impressive. And I can tell you from personal experience as a player and as a coach, when you have part of a season that wins double-digit games and then 11 games, a lot of people have played this game and never done that. And those guys in Minnesota, they ought to be sky high for that opportunity.
This is a really good team, too. They've lost to Florida, Georgia, and LSU. Yeah. We mentioned they beat Alabama. Mm-hmm. This would be a feather in your cap. No doubt they'd win 4 straight bowl games, which is something Minnesota's never done. So it'd be a lot of firsts here.
And I'll tell you, the way they play offense, Kirk Sherrock, offensive coordinator, with all the RPOs, they're very simple. They'll have a chance to move the ball against Auburn, regardless of the athletic difference, if there is an athletic difference.
Should be a lot of fun, and again, nice reward for the Gophers on a very impressive season. Speaking of great seasons, what a year it has been for Indiana. After finishing one victory shy of a bowl each of the last 2 years, they left no doubt this time around, including a win in Lincoln for the first time since 1959, the game that made them bowl eligible. 3 straight conference wins, first time since 1993, and then finished off with the 2 OT win in the bucket battle, beating a Purdue team that had kept them out of that bowl last couple of seasons. So they are headed to the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl to take on Tennessee. Will look to win a bowl game for the first time since 1991. Now, to put that in perspective, you see it's the longest drought among power conference teams. It's the longest drought among power conference teams by 13 years. A significant gap between them and everyone else. So we'll see whether or not the Hoosiers can break through against the Tennessee team that won 5 straight down the stretch. Hoosiers coach Tom Allen is with us from our studio in Bloomington. First of all, Coach, congratulations. I know this is a day that you look forward to when the Hoosiers would be in this bowl discussion, just the 4th time in the last quarter century that it's happened. You've known about it for a while now. You guys clinched it quite a while ago, but what does it mean to arrive at Selection Sunday?
It's just a special day, as you mentioned. We've been working towards this ever since I became the head coach, and you set down your goals and the things you want to accomplish, and our guys have worked really, really hard. We came up short for 2 straight years, and that was difficult, but we persevered, and grit was our one word for this year, and I think that really defines this team, the way they've responded the entire season and the way we've been able to finish strong in games and find ways to win. So just love our team, love what we're building, and very excited about our future.
You guys get to play in a site that has been the place where so many good bowl games have been played through the years. Jacksonville and the Gator Bowl is a historic bowl. What does that destination mean to go somewhere that is steeped in history like that?
Well, it just makes it even more special. I know how excited our players are and our coaching staff, and we recruit that part of the country pretty heavily too. So that's an added bonus. We have a lot of young men on our roster from the southeast portion of our country, and so that's going to allow them to be able to have a lot of family there. And so it just, we couldn't ask for a better spot. We're really excited about going to Jacksonville and playing in the Gator Bowl.
How about the opponent in Tennessee? How much do you know about the Vols?
Not much. We're going to have to start the process of getting to know those guys. But I know Coach Pruitt's done a great job there and building that program, and obviously in the SEC, a place that I coached in, and the conference there. And we actually played Tennessee when I was there at Ole Miss in the past. And so just know their tradition and the history. I think we have played them once in our past as well, and I think in the Peach Bowl many years ago. But excited about playing against the Tennessee Volunteers.
As you are well aware, Indiana's not won a bowl game since 1991. I know you want to win every game you play, but is there a particular emphasis in winning this one just to get that proverbial monkey off your back?
Well, our players are aware of that, and when we went through and had our preseason meetings and had our leadership council come together, they came up with our goals and for the season, and that was one of them. It wasn't just to get to a bowl game, it was to win our bowl game. So now we put ourselves in a position to be in a bowl, and yes, one of our objectives was to get to this point and to go there to win. So obviously playing a very good football team, but it's been many, many years, 28 to be exact, since we won a bowl game here in Indiana. So this team's about making history, and that's our next objective.
Was one of those goals to set the school record for wins as well? Because you could do that with a victory here. As you know, you could tie the all-time mark. How important is that for you?
Well, that would be amazing, and I think our guys, when we set things, down and talk things through, we just, I knew this was a special group. I believed in them, and they began to believe in each other and themselves and the way that we were starting to play and learn how to finish off games. And so, the chance to win 9 games, it's only happened 2 other times in our program's history, 1945 and 1967. So I wasn't born yet, and obviously neither were none of our players. So just a great time to be a Hoosier and excited about what we're building here. But the next step is to try and go win this bowl game and make a little history in the process.
And, Coach, you talked about what you're building, and I know you feel like you're just getting started. You're rewarded this past week with a new contract. What does that do for you in terms of your ability to go out and recruit and sell Indiana football?
Well, it means a lot. I'm very, very thankful for that opportunity and very blessed for our administration to believe in me and believe in our staff and believe in what we're doing here. And it's tremendously powerful to be able to sit down with a family and tell them I'm going to be the coach here for many, many years, and that this administration is 100% behind us. They believe in us, and they're going to help us build this thing day by day and step by step. So it's an awesome time for us to be able to look forward, to be able to realize that the best is yet to come for Indiana football.
We are anxious to see what that best is, starting with the bowl matchup against Tennessee. Coach, congratulations again. Thanks so much for your time, and best of luck against the Vols.
Thanks so much, Dave. I sure appreciate it. Leo.
In that game on January the 2nd, it is not a prolific Tennessee offense. They average about 20 points per game in SEC play. I know you think the Hoosiers can lean on their defense here.
Yeah, but let's go back to one of the things Coach Allen said. Only 2 teams in the history of Indiana football have won 9 games. You talk about Minnesota winning 11. I mean, these are significant things that teams take with them for the rest of their lives. I mean, this is an unbelievable opportunity for those guys on the Indiana team. I think why they have a chance is the rushing attack on paper. The rushing attack of Tennessee is not all that good. I think this Indiana defense is a good defense. I think one of the reasons they have a chance to win 9 games is they've got the Indiana model. They're explosive on offense, and they're good on defense. And that's what all the best Indiana teams have done that, Howard. They've held serve on defense, and they've been explosive on offense. If they could hold serve on defense against an average rushing Tennessee offense, they can win this game and win 9 games.
Yeah, I'll go back to the storyline. It's kind of been playing out this entire year, and that's Peyton Ramsey. And it started early when he was not named the starter. And now to have an opportunity to go into a bowl game and be successful as a starting quarterback, I think gives this offense and this football team quite a bit of confidence, because he can make all the throws. We've seen him do that, and we've seen him make great decisions, throwing it to his wide receivers that can make big plays for them. They can get the running game going once again. I think this is a tough team. They're going to be motivated to go out and really do something that hasn't been done, or only a few teams have done before them.
How about all teams around the country that are 1 deep at quarterback, right? And Indiana's 2 deep. And if they weren't 2 deep, they wouldn't, again, be in position to win 9 games. It's an extraordinary story. Yeah. It really is.
I mean, it's one thing to be 2 deep where the second guy can come in and do an adequate job.
Right.
Peyton Ramsey was one of the best quarterbacks in the Big Ten.
Right.
He was phenomenal. He was 4th in the Big Ten in passing efficiency. Had a great year.
Yeah, and his leadership. Brings his leadership as well.
Look, these are the kinds of games Indiana won this year. They've won 8 straight games against unranked teams. This is an eminently beatable Tennessee team,
win one more.
to your guys' point. No doubt. As we continue here on The Big Show, we're going to talk more about the Badgers' trip out to Pasadena, hear from a couple of their stars weighing in on their game, and we will hear from Nate Stanley as well. Speaking of stars, the Hawkeye quarterback getting set to play his final game with his teammates, wrapping up